On a previous chat, I mentioned that, or I mentioned rather, the different ways that a guy will try to thirst check you. And if you didn't see that video, I ain't gonna go too far in depth, but just go back and watch it. But I also mentioned something. I said that most women who are susceptible to that, which are the women who are thirsty, are not single. As you know, contrary to popular belief, most women who are thirsty, as in desperate, as in without a man, they don't know what they're gonna do with their life. They'll do anything to have a man, and while they don't have a man, they trying to ruin everybody else's situation with a man. They bitter, they acting all out, all that good stuff. Most women who fit that description, unfortunately, are actually in relationships. And that does include marriages. I know that's like the holy grail or something like that. But I want to make sure I clear that up. Not just clear it up, I want to back it up. First off, y'all tell me something. Have you ever heard of a woman's standards being too low in a relationship to get a man? Have you ever heard of a woman have you ever heard somebody say to a woman, oh, you don't care how he look? You don't care how much money he make or if he got a job? You don't care if he's disrespectful to his mama or if he don't take care of his kids? That don't make no difference to you? Oh, you ain't gonna never get no man like that. Y'all, you ever heard somebody tell a woman you gonna be single the rest of your life? You sitting there with them low standards. You'll tolerate anything, forgive cheating no matter how many times he do it. I ain't no man gonna want you. Never in your life. I bet you ain't never heard nobody say that. I know I haven't. Why? Because we're always talking about, when we're talking about a woman being single for the rest of her life, we talk about her standards being too high or her standards being unrealistic. AKA, the reality is those high standards don't belong in relationships. Therefore, lower standards are a lot more common and tolerable in relationships, as opposed to where those high standards, even if they are too high, are most likely going to be in singlehood. As a matter of fact, and this might just be me, for every one woman, and I can't think of one honestly, but I know they exist somewhere, for every one woman who is single by force, meaning she has absolutely no options. A woman that's single by force, there's nobody, no potentials, nobody trying to holler at her, no nothing. For every one woman you show me in that category, I can show you 10 that are single by choice. And when you say single by choice, because I know that phrase gets thrown around quite a bit, I'm speaking to women that have curbed a man in the last 30 days. Hell, most of the women that I know, they curbed a man in the last 24 hours, which means there are potentials coming their way. There are guys presenting themselves, but they have some standard that he's not meeting. Some standard, but they do have choices. Therefore, because they're not taking these guys up and they remaining single, they are single by choice. But let's look at the relationship scene, especially today's relationship scene. For any one woman in a relationship where it's healthy, I ain't even talking about perfect, but you got two people who are in a healthy place, they are moving the right direction, they have respect for each other, they're not just fronting for the gram. For any one woman in that situation, we call her lucky, right? Why? Because we can all name 2 or 3 women that are in relationships that are going nowhere. Talking about they riding for a man, but they've been at the stoplight for about 8-9 years. Light them turn green 10, 11 times. At some point, you got to go somewhere to be riding, fronting for the gram. God, somebody just to say that, just any damn body just to say they got somebody. So all that to say this, man, like it's important that we address this stigma, not just for conversational purposes, but we got to correct the stigma around desperate women, thirsty women, not being single, because that is to also correct the stigma around singleness that scares a lot of women away when that's exactly what they need so they can make room for a healthy relationship. If not with somebody else, at least and first and foremost, with themselves. And while we at it, let's go ahead and do away with the stigma that it's just women that need to go through a season of singleness. Because honestly, if you're a dude and you need a relationship that's one-sided, either in your favor or not, that's still a character flaw within yourself. There's a lot of men out here that need to be single too. Because yeah, we do tell a lot of women, you need to be single right now. That goes for a lot of guys as well. But back to the point that I was making, because I know I'm ranting a little bit, man. Most thirsty or desperate women are not those women without a man. They're those women that have a piece of a man or a potential man, and they say it's a husband. So let's go ahead and get into this Q&A, what we all came here for.